cold night, and we're going to see some good play here, hopefully, from the two men. That was redundant. From the two champions. Currently, it is a brisk 35 degrees here in scenic Waltham, Massachusetts. Right outside the booth, I can see Lance Vance, our formidable TO, talking about nothing and announcing matches. I'm sure that he's trying to play some game or make some stupid plays in a Smash game of his own. Here I am calling him out while we're about to get into the match. Shout out to Lance, we love you. You do everything for us. And now for Jules versus Mr. B. Here we go, Lucina versus Brawler. If someday I get a co-commentator, the peasants will rejoice. Until then, Jules covering that landing, despite the ballsy down air coming from Mr. B, which actually hit, and another mix-up attempt, Jules isn't phased. He shields immediately. As they're playing right now, and as Mr. B's trying to go for a quick kill here, we'll talk a little bit about this matchup. As I said, what Jules is trying to do is hold Mr. B in that advantage, and what Mr. B's trying to do is outrange Jules. It starts as simple as that, but it gets a little bit more complex. Mr. B, as Lucina, he has that ability to make those approaches as safe as possible, and as I'm saying that, Jules just says, I'm calling you out. You can't tech my thing. Well, you're going to get hit by a jab reset down smash and killed earlier than usual. As Jules has frequently told me, and this is a well-known fact, that one of the things that me Brawler has as a problem is struggling to kill. But when you get a read like that, well, there's not much that they can do. The coverage there on that up tilt was surprising, I think even for Mr. B, as he air dodged out to try to get out of that grab, but it still ended up hitting. This is where Jules wants to be, once again, holding Mr. B in that advantage. And I don't think Mr. B was there for that last local, though I might be wrong, where Jules won, so he might not be prepared for how much moxie Jules is bringing to this match. That being said, Mr. B still almost connecting this kill here, and he doesn't have nearly the problems that Jules does doing the same. And that nair with that amazing coverage, that's what we want to see as we move into the second stock. 21% coming from that side B as he reads the dash forward by Jules. You know, actually, I was going to mention before that Lucina's approaches and landings are often very safe, but if you can catch them with a parry like that, it can become extremely difficult for them to connect anything. This is almost certainly a kill as Mr. B was out of options as his jump was caught by that shot put coming from Jules. He knows how to aim him. And sometimes you can avoid him, sometimes you can go for a mix-up, but sometimes you just get caught. And this was one of those situations. Jules knowing how to use that down B to recover, immediately making him better than me Brawler, as I don't even use that moveset. That being said, well, I've used that phrase too much. With that out of the way, we will say that this game, it almost seems in the pocket for Jules. He seems to be able to catch those landings and to exploit that disadvantage with Mr. B as much as possible. And he's almost lapped him in percent on this stock, and it's been a grave situation for Mr. B. Then again, I think that he's figuring out. He's starting to realize that he's going to have to mix up his landings a little bit more, and that a simple trick with a forward air or nair landing is not going to work against Jules, who's ready for that parry. Mr. B would be hard pressed to make a comeback like this here, but a hard read on that recovery option by Jules. Well, Mr. B made the read, and Jules made the recovery, but that could spell grave things to come if Jules is not prepared, and the down B gets red, and this could be big. 71%. Mr. B trying everything. I think Jules might be getting a little bit antsy here. As we talked about, me Brawler can have a little bit of a tough time killing, and that's exactly what Mr. B's going to have to exploit if he wants to make this comeback. And up B goes for an intense read, but doesn't quite make it, but landing on that platform luckily allows him to make it back nonetheless without getting punished too hard. The forward tilt, Jules didn't want to go for anything more committal, for it could cost him the game. Here we are at 179%. Jules not connecting that kill, and there's a forward smash. Things are tense here, and he had to go with the air dodge, and Jules couldn't connect that kill, and Mr. B making an amazing comeback in that game, realizing that he can call out those recoveries and connect big damage to allow him to move forward into the next game. Now, if Jules can connect those kills just a little bit more, he might have this one in the bag, as he was doing very well to hold that disadvantage state. But then again, Mr. B catching on to some of those tricks coming from Jules. So we'll have to see if either one of them can keep a cool head to win this set. Winner's quarters, game 2 coming up. And now, game 2. When I get a co-commentator, the Messiah will come. Anyway, here we are again, Town and City. This worked well for both players before in different situations. Well, the same situation really, but, you know, with different motivations. Both of them using these platforms to try to catch. If I say catch landings one more time, somebody's going to have to shoot me. Both of them using these platforms to try to extend those combos. And that's exactly what Jules is doing, 90%. So much damage can come from me, Brawler. But again, what he's struggling with and what he's got to improve is that killing. Oh, that shot put was excellently placed and just barely, narrowly avoided by Mr. B. I'm not even sure if Mr. B realized that he could avoid that one, but he slid past it. Now, once again, the onus is on Jules to try and connect this kill here. He's got a solid lead, but it could disappear at any moment due to these edge guards from Mr. B. A grave situation on that up B, and the stream cut out for a second, but it didn't matter because I could hear him forward throwing. That's exactly what he did. I don't think that he was prepared to go for a different punish on that. Maybe a walk-up smash would have worked, but if you go for something committal in this matchup, it can be all over. And there's the down B to connect that kill. An unfortunate trade nearly costing Jules his life as well, but luckily he survives, and Mr. B moves to his next stock. Now, this is by no means over. It's hardly even a lead, as there could be a kill right now, which could move us into the next stock. But if Jules can start to connect some of those combos he had before, try to tack on a little bit of extra percent, he can create a comfortable lead, which, as we saw in the last game, doesn't end the game immediately, but could be good for him. But alas, I think a misinput there coming from Jules, or perhaps he thought he had his jump before doing that shot put, but didn't quite make it for him. And now we can have potentially a lot of damage coming from Mr. B on this read. There's another co-commentator. Mr. B won the first game. It says it right there. He made a good comeback.
We weren't sure that was correct, but it wasn't agreed?
Yeah. Yes, it was an excellent comeback. Prince Fluff, my friend Garrett, is with me in the room here. And he's about to get on and be my co-commentator. Finally, I will have one.
Right.
And he is in a chair that is appreciably shorter than me, and yet he's still taller.
An important thing to note.
Yes.
So wait, what happened last game?
Last game, Jules was in an immense lead, but of course, me, Brawler, has one big problem, and it's killing. He could not quite connect that kill, and at about 180%, Mr. B got some ridiculous combos, connected an edge guard, and the game was over.
Huh.
Yeah, an
Well,
excellent comeback by Mr. B, and he's exploiting exactly the sort of problem that he needs to.
looks like we're going to end up with a pretty similar game here. Wow, after I messed that one up.
Well, that's what it looks like, but at this point, you know, Jules is in the lead, but only by a little bit because, you know, me, Brawler, tough time killing, and Lucina not. But as I say that, he's getting comboed, he's getting his landings caught, and we move into near death.
Ooh, nice up B.
With Mr. B. Yep, an excellent up B. Mr. B has gone for a couple of those committal out of shield after before, and it's not worked, but I think this time he realized when he had it. A landing catch
Damn,
by
what
Jules.
a call out.
Jules seeming to be able to connect those kills a little bit better than the last match, which will be really helpful to him.
That's
if
a
he's
lot of
trying to
punches.
go. If he's trying to win this. That is a lot of punches. You know what? That's what me, Brawler, is. A lot of punches.
I learned something today.
How did you do, Garrett?
I did fine. I got 17th. I think it was 25th, 17th, and then Brooks got 13th.
Oh, Brooks is out?
Yeah, Brooks is out.
Unfortunate.
Lost to Shampoo.
Yeah.
Brandeis out here, but like not actually that much. I was expecting a little bit more from us. We'll get him next time.
It was very cold. And my hands were too cold to play Bowser, so I went Ganon, and the consequences will follow.
It's really, really funny that you talk about Bowser as if you need to have warm hands.
For my main, I do. I'm used to doing things with him that are harder with cold hands.
Speaking of hands,
You're hardly one to talk.
We've got Hand in Hand here. Lovely music track. The only good thing about Kingdom Hearts.
Wow, once again on commentary, in front of the whole public, Garrett is as wrong as a person could possibly be. That being said, here we move into Game 3 with Jules and Mr. B. And Mr. B trying to exploit the very thing that I talked about at the beginning of this match, which is his superior range.
Jules does not care.
Well, that is very true. But as I said before, the thing that Jules needs to exploit is that Lucina notably has a poor disadvantage than a lot of other characters of her caliber, and that's the sort of thing that you need to be able to exploit as me, Brawler. That and connecting those kills in order to win a matchup like this.
So what is it about Lucina's disadvantage that makes it so bad?
Her landing's not very good. She has safe aerials that she can land with, but Jules has been on point with those
caught the
parries
double jump.
to be able to get out of them.
Oh, he wanted to do the... He wanted to throw one of the what is it, shot puts?
Yeah, he did want to throw that shot put on that recovery. That's caught Mr. B a few times before. In addition, a little bit floaty, that the character Lucina, and so it can be difficult for her to land, especially. And in terms of startup, in terms of trying to get out of combos, she doesn't have that many good things about it. Like, she doesn't have that many moves that can break out quickly, and so she does poorly in combos and she does poorly on landing, at least comparatively speaking. And that's the sort of thing that that Jules needs to be aware of in this matchup, and I'm sure he is, as we saw him win game 2.
Right.
Barely surviving.
Yeah, very
there.
close to getting hit there.
Close as it could, but if anybody knows that distance, it's definitely Mr. B. Bold and yet wise of Jules not to shield that shield breaker there. I think he realized at the last moment. And there's the jump, and...
interesting decision to counter there. Doesn't work out for him, and he gets killed for it.
Yeah, he does, but it was not the worst decision. It has worked before, and I think that it would have worked on almost any other Mii Brawler, but Jules recognized that possibility and delayed the upbeat ever so slightly to avoid that.
Tried to do a wave bounce there to get out of it, but Jules was ready for it.
Yeah, well, the wave bounce, it doesn't move you that much. You still don't have that much coverage as Lucina with something like a wave bounce like that, and Mii Brawler definitely does. But down throw to up be a brutal combo, and one that can kill a little early if it was any other stage.
Once again, we see Jules kind of just running away with it, and he finds an early kill.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. This is something, it's do or die for Mr. B right now in winner's bracket.
He's got to clear this stock
immediately.
ASAP.
He didn't. Like, the more this lead comes through, the worse it's getting for him. And Jules just seems to be able to find these anti-airs and find these combos. And is that it?
DI's really badly.
Yeah, DI's quite poorly, which is why it nearly was it. Mr. B making me look slightly less stupid than I normally am.
That's impressive.
Finally catching the ledge get up option there is Mr. B, but it might be too little too late. He's going to have to make a comeback even more miraculous than the one that he made in game 1 in order to secure this win. Oh, there's the back throw coming from Jules. The more damage he tacks on, but there's the shot put.
Oh,
not quite over yet.
Wow, that does not send very far.
No, the move has a horrible angle, but oh my god, the damage on it. But again, for Jules, that's not a big deal, and the only proper kill move that he has, back air connects, ends the set.
And just like that, Jules stuffs Mr. B kind of commandingly.
Yeah,
he was not having that.
He slipped up a little bit in the first game to allow that comeback, but it did not quite happen for Mr. B in the other 2 games. Are we getting dinner?
Yeah, let's go home.
All right.
See ya.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. These have been the Brandeis Boys.